Welcome to the next episode of Discipline, Desire, and Dedication. My name is Dakota Lang, along co-host Garrett Cotton. Episode 26 with Mr. Ben Jensen. What's up, bro?
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Good. Hey, man. Glad to have you as well. I kind of want to just jump straight into it. Let's just go back to our first initial conversation through Instagram. Um, where did you kind of see me from, or see our podcast or whatever? What kind of even got us to this point?
This is going to be just like an accidental, not even accidental, but plug for one of my friends that basically had some help with my social media. So he actually is from the door-to-door space too, but they got some sort of software that interacts with people in my niche, and it has an auto DM feature in there, which is so funny because I don't want to sound like a bot, but
Yeah.
it reaches out to all these people that are in the same space. Like it doesn't reach out to them, but I guess it just like, I think it interacts with their stories. So you'll get like people that come to your page because I guess it likes their stories, and it hits an auto DM. So it's so funny. I'm like, this is so cool that even worked that way. But I think when someone follows me, it just shoots them a message, and then I was like, a lot of times it's a person door to door that I'm trying to connect with, and it just works out.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, that's pretty badass, to be honest with you. So let's just kind of backtrack. Let's kind of hear your story a little bit. I know you haven't got a chance to talk to Cotton. This is Garrett Cotton. I know you haven't got a chance to talk to him too much. We'll kind of do a little background on ourselves, but we'll start off with you. Where are you from? How old are you? And what do you currently do?
Yeah. I am 20. I just turned 25 this week, and I came from door to door. Graduated from University of Oklahoma. That's where I found the whole door to door, opportunity. Didn't even know that was a thing. Just went to school to get grades, and then wanted to get into real estate. Some guy recruited me from social media that was a regional manager at Vivint. Went out there my last summer of college, killed it. Came back, brought my first rental property. We all transitioned over to solar just because it was, it seemed like a better experience. We could stay home and build our team there. So did solar for a year after graduating college, and then was trying to get back more into real estate, and basically stumbled across a lot of investing in education, but stumbled across pre-foreclosure, started knocking those and in the off season, and really just got super busy, brought my brother into the business. So now we full-time real estate investing. So we wholesale, flip, buy a lot of rental properties. But yeah, no longer in solar, just took the door-to-door into real estate.
Heck yeah, dude. And you're in Oklahoma right now?
No, I'm from Dallas. So I live in Dallas. I'm sitting we're like downtown in the middle of it all.
Heck yeah.
I grew up in a suburb of Dallas, went to the University of Oklahoma.
Cool. And how old did you say you were?
Yeah. 25.
25.
Yeah, so really young getting into the real estate stuff. I feel like I'm actually a little bit behind you because I'm literally following the same path of, door to door. Living in Louisiana, me and Dakota, we had never heard of door to door. I don't have sidewalks. Nobody's ever knocked my door in my entire life. So when I had a cousin call me from Utah and tell me that there was a door to door job, I didn't even have many questions because I didn't know anything what I was about to get into. But how you've taken it so far, and you've taken it, it's opened more doors for you. That's the route that we're trying to take with this as well. So it's really awesome that you got to reach out to your system was able to get in contact with us.
Yeah.
I'm glad. That's awesome.
Always trying to network on social media. It's really good, but it just automates it a little bit. Just farther spread, but yeah, pretty cool.
Absolutely. So what were you going to school for?
I went in engineering first year, and then did all that, and I was like, okay, I don't think I want to be an engineer. Switched it to, I was just doing school like everyone else, making good grades. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Switched to business, supply chain, had an internship lined up for a 9-to-5 job in like a operations warehouse, and I was like, coming towards the end of college, realized I didn't want to do that, so started digging into all the sales and real estate stuff, and then just got recruited by a guy while I was searching for it to go knock doors.
Did you ever graduate?
Yeah, honestly, if I would have found door to door earlier, I don't see how I would have, but I found it right before my senior year. So I came back after that first summer. I finished one of the top rookies at Vivint. So made 10 times what I thought I was going to make, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to make this out of college. I'll just finish my last year, recruit like crazy, and built a big team, and then bought my first rental right after that.
Yeah, so talk about the process that you went through with Vivint. So you got recruited through social media, correct?
Yep.
So you got recruited through social media. Was that local in Oklahoma as well?
No, Vivint's everywhere, but the guy, it was just one of those, YouTube, university, whatever, you're sitting there scrolling, trying to figure out how you can go make money. And just followed a guy that had a bunch of followers that was a real estate investor. I had no idea he was a regional manager or partner at Vivint. And so he just did one of those, I think it was like a TikTok. It was just one of those cheesy, like, come make 20 grand in a summer, do commission-based sales. And I didn't think it was legit, but I just hopped on a call with him and he sold me on it. Ended up having some mutual connections that my brother's friends actually used to sell there, and I had no idea. So then they put me in touch with their old manager, and it was a nice connection.
Okay, so you went through that process. You went through to Vivint. You said you just did that for a summer?
Yep, yeah. So I finished junior year. It was that whole COVID year. So luckily, I maximized on it. I saw he sold me on it pretty quick. So I dropped the other internship immediately, switched my major to marketing, and then I was all online for COVID. So I had no in-person classes. So I was like, how soon can I get out there? And he's like, dude, we're starting April 11th if you want. Just all the college kids don't come until, after May. And so I went out to Colorado Springs, and it was snowing when I got there.
Yep.
And it was brutal, but yeah, I got a little head start and went all the way up until the day school started.
That's really awesome. Yeah. And Colorado, so that was your first knocking experience was in Colorado?
Yeah. Yep, Colorado Springs. I got lucky with that.
Yeah, it really is. So I actually run our Denver office for Performance Windows, and we do door-to-door window replacements. So similar structure for everything that you've been through, just a different product. But Colorado, right. It's a great market because for us being out there, we've actually learned that Colorado has the most degrees per state, per person per state. So as far as selling like an energy efficient option, it's a great thing to sell out there. And going through those different seasons, so y'all started in April. We actually do it year round, so we never stop. So right now we're still in the heat of it. We're at like a $1.4 million month right now, which it's still great weather in Colorado right now, but
yeah,
gonna continue it on. But tell us a little bit. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask what markets in Colorado.
Yeah, so we have a North Denver branch and then a South Denver branch. So as far as we're in Broomfield on the north side of it, in Inglewood. So we're really around like the city of Denver, and we'll do we call it a blitz, but we'll go up and we'll drive for like a week to Fort Collins, or we'll drive down. We haven't done Colorado Springs yet, but it's a newer office for us. But we'll end up.
I was born in Inglewood, actually.
Really?
Not to sidetrack, but yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So okay.
Grew up in Texas, but
just moved out to Texas young.
Oh yeah, I've lived in Texas my whole life, but I was born in my brother and I were both born in Inglewood, Littleton.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a great market. But I kind of want to hear a little bit about like your solar experience. So how long was that?
What? It was just that 1 year after graduating. So I did the summer of Vivint. Was never planning to go sell solar. We just had a huge team, and we were the top, probably the top team at Vivint there. And kind of last minute saw the solar opportunity, and we didn't want to travel around. We liked that we could build our team here and work more year round, like you were saying. So we all pivoted to solar, and I just did it from graduating until really December. I didn't really sell from even December to March. I used that whole time to figure out real estate, and that's how I got busy doing what I'm doing now. But all my guys that were setting appointments were in college, so I didn't have a huge team. I was just self-genning in the off season, and by March, April the next year, I was pretty much, I dropped it and was full time. Wholesaling, flipping, buy rentals, like what we're doing now.
Yeah, so maybe to backtrack just a little bit, talk about like your childhood. Whenever you were growing up, as a child going through high school, middle school, and all that, did you have the vision of, were you constantly trying to be an entrepreneur? Obviously, you said that you were constantly, looking on YouTube how to make money. Was that kind of always your mindset, or was there something that, maybe through college that just made it click and just change right then? Or was that something that you kind of developed all the way up through your childhood, even through college?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was thinking about that recently. I really didn't. Like, I was never that money motivated. I think I was always sports. Like, I had so much competitive nature, but it was never like channeled towards business. It was just like in the batting cages every day, like in the gym, trying to go play Division I baseball. But I never really had like a work ethic in that sense, but never like go make money just because it was all going towards sports. But once I went to college and I didn't end up playing baseball because it was going to be a small school if I went to play. I just ended up going to school, get good grades, and always had good grades. But I think once I got to the end of school and realized what the job opportunities I had through that 9 to 5 type internship, it hit me then. I was like, oh shoot, you're interviewing the people that are in these jobs and they're making not the money I wanted to make, not doing the work life I wanted to have, and I was like, I got to find something else. So that's when I just started reading books. I never used to read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then that just like changed my whole perspective.
Yeah, see, I'm glad you said that because there's a lot of people that go through it, and us included. We grew up in, our parents were a middle class family. You know what I mean? Go get your college degree, go get you a job. With your 401k, go the traditional route, right? And then you come out of college, or you graduate through college, you're going through internships, and you look up and they're like, oh yeah, man, well, you got a 4-year degree, but we're going to offer you $50,000 per year salary. And it's like, are you kidding me? I just paid $50,000 for this piece of paper, and you're only going to give me $50,000. I don't think people really realize what is out there, especially in the door-to-door space, on how much like it's changed our lives and obviously yours as well.
Do you think there's any a reason that you didn't continue to do door to door? You just saw it as like a short term thing for you, like a quick income?
I really didn't see it as a short term thing at all at the beginning. Like, that's why I think I did so well. Is like, I was like, holy cow, I can make $100,000 in a summer selling alarm systems. Like, if I go build a team, I'll just go buy a house or two every year, and then by the time I'm 30, 40, I'll be like set.
Yeah, so
and so I was always like,
been
build
that route for you though.
Yeah,
You've always knew that you wanted to get into it.
Yeah, that was the whole plan. I did it to get into real estate, but I was going to use door to door as the tool. It wasn't until I kind of was finishing solar, I was trying to get more rental properties creatively. The interest rates went up, and I was like, I got to figure this out. So I just stumbled across some deals while I was knocking pre-foreclosures to try and find rentals, and I was like, oh, I can wholesale this and make, I made like $40,000 on my first 2 wholesales. Not to say that that was easy. It took a ton of door knocking, and you can't go sell a person, so it's a whole different process. But yeah, I just got busy enough with it through the network we had that I wanted to go that route. So now the active income is just different. It's not that it's any easier or better than like a door-to-door world. It's just, it allows us to now find all of our real estate deals.
Yeah, what would you say is some of your what would you say is some of the biggest skill sets that door to door helped you develop to be able to do what you do now?
Just the rejection and craziness that you see every day. I mean, people come to me now, and we're trying to build a lot of community through helping people get into investments or finding deals on the doors. Just like for wholesale, I mean, we have 3 deals from guys that are selling alarms, solar, roofing, and they come across the wholesale deal. So we'll just, same thing, like we'll close it and give them commission. But when people are trying to learn it, it's like, I'd rather you just go knock doors and learn how to sell before even trying to do real estate. Because it's like, I can't teach a person how to face adversity and handle objections and learn how to sell, other than just go and knock doors and get in an environment that's doing that every day.
Yeah, the grit that comes with the door-to-door.
Problem solving. Yeah, you learn so much. Yeah, I've only been in the industry now for 2 years, and my life has done like a 720. It just keeps on flipping. Every single year it's like something new, but it's newer problems and bigger problems, bigger paychecks and stuff. So it's all worthwhile. So as far as like for your with the real estate stuff, were your family or was your brother involved in it before you got into it, or is this something that you guys tackled from the very beginning?
Yeah, we not at all. Like I was kind of the first person. Just I think once I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it was funny. You take 4-year college degree, and no one teaches you anything that one book probably taught me more in. Just the basic concept of investing into assets and creating long-term wealth. But no, I was just interested from that. Went out to sell. My dad's in sales, but he's a corporate route, and always make good grades. My brother he's 2 years older, so he was already in a corporate job, and I think he was starting to get the taste of like, crap, I need to get into some sort of sales environment. I'm out here selling door to door, making a bunch of money, and he's like stuck in a corporate job. So once I got into it, I kind of brought him. I was like, hey, you should start looking at this with me. And he got obsessed with it too.
Did he ever knock doors with you, or was straight into the real estate stuff?
No, I tried to recruit him a little bit when we were doing solar, and then solar started to change quite a bit, and I was diving heavy into real estate. I was like, hey, like, you can cold call on the side after work. I'll go door knock. And then he started door knocking for real estate deals as, he went full time in it with me. So yeah, he had no door-to-door experience other than the real estate.
I'm sure that you probably have plenty of challenges working with family as well. Have you guys always been seeing eye to eye, or do you butt heads pretty often? How's it been?
No, I think my dad did a good job at that. Like, we're 2 years apart, so we played baseball together, everything, same friends. We butt heads occasionally, but nothing serious. I'd say we handle it pretty well. We're about to go live together. We're probably best friends, so
okay.
It's good.
So neither of you guys have like families or girlfriends or anything like that right now? You're just grinding?
We do both have girlfriends. It's they let us know about the poor time management that we have probably, but
yep.
No other family in real estate. It was just us getting into it.
Yeah, and it's all about what you put into it at the very beginning, right? Me and Dakota, our girlfriends, our fiancés now, we're both engaged. We're slowly climbing that ladder. But we would get in trouble every single night because we come home and they're like, if you were on the phone with Dakota when you walk in this door, and it just becomes like that. But it's the sacrifice. We put everything into it at the very beginning and reap the fruits of the labor later down the road.
Exactly. Congrats on that too. I saw that, the engagement.
Appreciate that.
At least I saw Dakota's and you if you're also engaged.
Yeah.
Thank you. We kind of did it about a month and a month and a half before that.
Yeah, we planned it up. We just had to get mine in first.
Yeah. Well, he screwed me. I was supposed to do mine, and then he knew I was gonna do mine that weekend, so he had to hurry up and get it done.
I had to do it before him. I didn't want him to think that I did it, or Caitlin to think that I did it because Dakota did it. So I had to jump in there.
What a random Wednesday, huh? Yeah. That's
You're
fun.
You're playing in the house and the kids at the same time. You got to have the T-ball going.
Nah, he got me beat on the kids.
Yeah, I'm working on number 2 right now. Dakota, he don't have no kids yet.
Yeah. We practicing. We gotta get there.
Yeah. Practice hard enough. You'll get one.
Yeah, gotta keep practicing. What are you a licensed real estate agent?
No. We do everything off market, so never have gotten my license. It's all direct to seller, no agents. We'll deal with agents occasionally, but we're just finding people that need to get rid of their house quick. So a lot of that started with pre-foreclosures because they're about to lose it. People that inherited their house, tired landlords, just houses that are run down that you see that they just need to get rid of quick. And
you say you find these people by knocking their doors?
That's how I started, and still how we get some of our biggest deals. But
really?
Now
you took that route, didn't
now
you?
we do.
Yeah, a little bit.
Dakota started to do something similar to that, but when you told me about it, you were kind of trying to go to the courthouse and get lists of people who were. Yeah. Tell us about that a little bit, about what you wanted to do.
Yeah, so I did the real estate route. So in college, me and Timmy Shell, we got the wholesaling idea, through trying to figure out how to get rich, obviously, and started calling on distressed properties, pre-foreclosures, inheritance, stuff like that, or what was it? It was just non-occupied, so people that maybe it was a rental property or whatever, and we just started making phone calls. Boom, just started calling people. Where we lost was we had this full list of distressed properties, but we had nobody to buy the properties. You know what I mean? So instead of finding our buyers, finding our investors, the people that are going to be, looking for the properties, we went in and just started finding distressed properties. And, we ultimately didn't know what the hell we were doing. And went through all that. It completely went down. And then, long story short, I went to the corporate world. I went and worked for United Rentals. Well, then after that, I left United Rentals and I went into real estate. I was brokered by EXP Realty and did the whole real estate route as far as getting your license, getting your listings, doing, into the real estate industry, but as a totally different aspect. And you know this just as well as I do. Some real estate agents, they're like, oh man, these wholesalers or whatever, blah blah blah, they come in, and honestly, my opinion, the smarter route is to go the wholesaling route, because that's where you have the more margins, right? The more money's there, instead of getting a 2.5% commission rate that you have to work with this client for 180 days. You know what I mean? So you work 180 days. Yeah, exactly. So you work 180 days with somebody on a $300,000 house. You're getting 2.5%. So that's going to be around like what, 7,000. And then after that, then you got to start going through your splits with your brokerage. You know what I mean? So after a $7,000 check, ultimately I was getting 3,500, 3,000. You know what I mean? After I just worked with somebody for 180 days. So whenever you went into the wholesaling, did you ever get presented with going the actual, the real estate route as far as like getting your license and everything like that? Is that somebody maybe pitched you on, that you just kind of deterred and said, no, I'm gonna do this? Or kind of talk about your thought process through that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, coming from the door-to-door space, that's what's so cool, with the ability to just go sell someone and knock on the next door, and then when you're getting you're getting paid. Like, solar is a little longer process. That's why I love what y'all have going with the windows now too, because it seems like it's a little quicker. It's a similar type sale. But no, I mean, I was making those checks on solar just without having to get a license, and I knew wholesaling I didn't have to do that. So yeah, I never really thought about getting my license that much. Same concept. I'm like, if I can just go get the distressed people and connect it with the buyer, I don't need a license or deal with, a small commission. There's pros and cons though. You can get referrals from being an agent if you build up a business long term, whereas wholesaling, it's one and done, which I kind of like, but it's, you're not going to get referral. It's a fully sales and marketing. You just have to be mass marketing like crazy and making sure that you're, getting deals across the finish line.
So you said a second ago that whenever you started the wholesaling gig, that you were doing the door to door, right?
Yeah, that's just how I started. Well, I was already knocking for solar. Like, I made a bunch of money for solar, and then I was trying to find my next rental property. And so I had this like time off to try and dive into it for a few months. And so I just started hammering pre-foreclosure doors in the areas that I was knocking solar. Like, I was supposed to be on these blitzes, but all my guys were either in college. So I was basically letting setters knock. If I had a solar deal, I'd go to it, and then I'd just hit all the foreclosure houses. Yeah. And so I was doing this just kind of on my own, and ran into a couple big deals. And then it just like, I would tell people we're in a couple big real estate networks. I'm like, hey, I can close your deals. You need help talking to sellers? And I just copied like the setter closer model. So now all these people were bringing me leads. So I was just closing real estate deals, but I was supposed to be doing solar. My phone was just ringing so much that I had just stopped.
So answer me this. So I actually have, I was going to purchase it after I did some digging, had somebody go look at the property. I'm not doing it. But do y'all do any like subject to? So subject to the existing mortgage, taking over the mortgage and stuff like that? Is that kind of what you're going to, or are you coming in with an investor that's going to pay full cash?
So that's a good question. Every lead is different. So I have about we just closed on like our 16th rental, or his 16th door like yesterday, and it's subject to. So I have probably every rental property I bought in the last year is subject to or seller finance. So as we're marketing to these houses, like let's say you talk to someone in pre-foreclosure, that first deal I got where I wholesaled and made 40 grand, it's because that guy owned it forever. He had almost no mortgage left on it. The house is in terrible condition. I'm not going to buy that subject to, or I don't even really want to renovate it. So I just got it under contract at a discount and then brought in the buyer that actually paid for it. So I didn't have to bring the money. That's what wholesaling is.
Right.
So they bought it, I made the fee, but then you go knock another door, like on one of my rental properties, they bought it in 2018 with a 3% interest rate.
Yep.
I can't get them under contract cash if I wanted to because there's not enough equity.
Yep.
But I catch up the 10,000 they're behind on their mortgage. I give them a little bit to relocate, stop the foreclosure, and now I buy it subject to that
Yep.
interest rate. And that's how I've gotten every single one of my rentals.
And it's not even going on your debt.
No.
Exactly.
So,
that's literally
that's
that's.
why
Go ahead.
I'll just say that's really what I was trying to do when I got into the creative finance, because my first rental I got while the interest rates were low, but then it went way up. So I'm like, how can I do this? So now every rental property we have is that same way.
So as you, so I'm assuming y'all are doing like an actual. Do you like have like a business name that y'all run all this through, or is this like you personal?
No, it's my brother and I just have a LLC we started. So we have Caruth Brothers is actually the name of our like wholesale flip business. So if we're doing active income and we're getting commission on a wholesale deal, it goes into that LLC, and that's basically our main business. We're marketing, we're doing text campaigns, we're doing Google ads now. We got people door knocking, cold calling, and then if we're holding a property, so if we're buying it subject to seller finance, we're just putting that into a LLC for our holding.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Y'all still, so now, obviously you started out, you built your team. So now you're, obviously not on the doors as much as you used to be. Do you feel like still to this day, most of y'all's leads are coming from the door knockers, or now have y'all grown to the point where now you're getting people calling in saying, hey, I'm looking to, get this property off my hands?
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, everyone's acts like they want to get off the doors. And the funniest thing is like, it doesn't cost anything. And it's the biggest deals because you're getting the rapport face to face. You're talking to people that no other investor has probably made a connection with because they're probably not answering their phone. And so, yeah, I'd say like we still get a handful of deals every month. Like probably a few from door knocking. You can't talk to as many people, but they're also the biggest deals every time because, you're there, you're face to face, you're sitting down with them at the kitchen table. So yeah, we do, but we have a lot of texting. People, we're setting appointments through that. Google ads are the best leads; they just cost the most, so it's risky. You're paying a lot more to get marketing in, but yeah, it's a handful of all of it.
And as far as so you're in Dallas right now, or is all y'all's wholesaling deals? Are y'all doing this throughout the country, or y'all just in Dallas?
We market all across Texas, so most of the deals and rentals I've never been to. We have people in, a contractor we know through our network in Houston, College Station. We have rental properties in like San Antonio, College Station, Houston, DFW. I have one in Oklahoma. But as far as wholesale deals, I mean, you can do it virtually anywhere. So we focus on Texas, but we market and, talk about what we're doing a lot with door-to-door guys. And I have 3 deals under contract right now with guys that are just selling security, solar. So I have one in Colorado under contract in Greeley. Guy tried to get solar for whatever reason, had missed mortgage payments and thought he could get solar. Turns out, the guy that was trying to sell him, we'd done Zoom calls with their team, but he gave me a call. We got him under contract. He's about to go to foreclosure next year. So that'll be a big wholesale deal in Colorado. We got one same way in Louisiana. Guy was selling Vivint. Lady inherited the house across the street after her mom passed away and just needed to get rid of it ASAP. We got it under contract. So like those ones will find deals in other areas, but we only really market in like Texas, and we're starting to branch out a little bit.
That's awesome, bro.
How big is your team? Like how many people do you have working with you?
We got, so as my brother and I was basically it at first, but now we have 2 guys that close deals with us, and then 1 guy that does so we have a huge network of buyers that we use from different software and just our real estate network. So he is like the disposition manager, we call it. So like when we get a deal under contract, he's bringing in the buyer, and then a transaction coordinator, just like your account manager, handling the title work, paperwork, all that.
Based on what you're doing right now, I mean, it seems to be working. Do you have like a long-term goal with your business?
I mean, ideally it'd be to keep the wholesale business going. We get to pick and choose the rentals we like. We find the best deals, and that's our active income. So ideally just tracking that better, having it automated, and then really it's buying more properties. We could buy single family like crazy just because of the subject to and seller finance. We bring in partners and keep doing it, but I think ideally I want to eventually get into commercial and not have to deal with, you know, tenants and have some bigger deals down the line.
Yeah.
And in your solar time, a lot of the skills like of coordinating and networking, because in solar, I'm not familiar with solar. So is it usually that you have a specific install team that works with you? Or do y'all usually contract those out to cheaper bidders, or how does it work with figuring out who's going to do the job? So like on like the fix and flips type stuff, is that kind of stuff that you've been able to translate?
In solar, it's funny. I mean, it depends what route you want to go, right? If you want to be with a company that's pretty established and has all their systems set up, I think there's a very big advantage to that, because I never thought about that. I mean, there's some minor stuff you might have to connect with the account team, but once I sold a deal, I was with Legacy, and I mean, they always did a good job in DFW. You never know if there's other areas, but they're the ones handling all the install stuff. You know, they have their install crews direct with it. If it's a smaller company, they might be subcontracting a lot of that out. So I didn't deal with any of that on the solar end. I was just selling and just making sure that customers were, you know, getting the next step. But with real estate, it's similar. There's a lot more heads to play. That's why it's so hard when you're, like, as Dakota was saying, it's like I can call all these leads now and get maybe someone interested under contract. But now it's like, okay, I got to have the buyer, which if you have a really good lead or deal is not that hard. You just got to have the resources. And then you got to have the title work, make sure they can get all the liens removed. There's always stuff coming up, airship things, people dying or title issues. So there's just a lot more like heads to, you know, business parts that usually if you're just selling for a company, you don't have to figure that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's some things we learned throughout the process.
Is one of your marketing strategies like cash in 60 days or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all those signs you see are wholesale or
Yep.
flippers, right? And they're saying cash in 10 days. Like, our website is like, hey, we can buy your house cash ASAP. You know, they need to get rid of it. We want the people that want to get rid of their house now.
Yeah, urgency.
Yeah.
Urgency, getting it done.
'Cause then they're selling it at a discount, so.
Yep. What
How-
I don't know what else you got a cool story, bro.
I think it's just really impressive how you jump straight into it. I mean, especially like you've never had like a mentor or anything like that that's guided you this way. You've just been hungry and been chasing it.
No, I definitely have. I would say that's the first thing that a lot of people might be afraid to do. I mean, I've invested probably $60,000, $70,000 in the last 2 years to learn what we have. I mean, I paid for a real estate network, and I guess you could call it mentor. Really, that just gave me access to people that kind of were doing stuff. And then from there, I ran into another guy knocking foreclosures. This is a crazy small world, but the first day I ever knocked foreclosures, I ran into another investor that lived in my hometown, used to sell at Vivint back in the day. He's like 40 years old.
No way.
And he's like, yeah, I find all these deals knocking doors. So I just started shadowing him. So, I mean, that was like the biggest connection right there and kind of pointed me in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm glad. I want to bounce off of that. So, especially for like, you know, let's talk to the audience for a second. So, you know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, see you at 25 years old. You know, I could only imagine what people, you know, that you graduated high school with, you know, look at you now, right? They see how much your life has transformed into becoming a successful person. But a lot of people, they're always, you know, they think, oh man, he just ran into the right person or whatever, you know, ran into the perfect person, just right place, right time. But what a lot of people don't understand is the grind and the discipline to go out there, you know, whenever nobody else is going out there knocking doors and you were out there, right? And putting yourself into that massive action mentality to where whenever you do that, other opportunities will open up, just like you were saying earlier in the pod. You know, that's what the door-to-door industry, every door that you knock on, you don't know who's opening that door, right? That I laugh because this is a story that Cotton said a long time ago, but whenever he was first I'm going to tell the story, even though it's your story, I'm going to tell it. Mm-hmm. But when Cotton was going to Utah, you know, in the door-to-door space, like you said earlier, like in Louisiana, I never knew what door to door was. You know, I didn't even know it existed. But Cotton's mentality whenever he was going was, look, this door-to-door performance windows gig at the time. He didn't know exactly what he was stepping into, but he was in the reality of, you don't know who's opening that door. I might be in Hollywood, you know, doing a movie.
I really felt that way. I was like, I'm gonna knock on, because I would tell myself, I'm actor, the homeowner's a director, and I'm just trying to sell that I am the perfect person for this role. And I think I had gotten that thought process so deep to where I was like, somebody's gonna hire me for a movie. Like, they're gonna want me to be out here. They're gonna ship me off somewhere. Yeah. I've already moved from Louisiana. Like, what's next? But that didn't happen. I just continued to climb through the.
But it's just the mentality of that, right? If you keep putting yourself and you have that massive action, opportunities are just gonna start slapping you in the face, and it's just up to us if we're gonna take advantage of it. And obviously, that's something that all three of us have done.
Yeah, actionable steps to see results, and even investing in yourself and investing in learning. You know, because that's one thing is like because being on the podcast with you, you've taught us a lot today as far as stuff that I've never heard this side of real estate, other than the failed attempt of what you told me in college. So right. It's definitely just it's eye opening that there's so many opportunities out there that you can just put your mindset behind and grind, and you will see the results. But taking those actionable steps.
Yeah. What would you tell? Go back to Ben at 18 years old, right? Your 18th birthday. There's no telling what you were doing, right? But go back and replay that moment in your head. What would Ben at 18 years old say about the person you are today?
I mean, I think he'd be just shocked. Like, I think that's one thing I don't take it or maybe take for granted or not be. I try to be grateful. I feel like if I live in gratitude, you know, you're not as stressed out. But like what you said, the bigger, you know, stuff you do, the bigger problems you have too. So I feel like I got so much on my plate. I'm like, holy cow, I'm not where I want to be, or like, how am I going to manage this? It's a million things at once. I got like short-term memory loss now, but like I would have never thought sitting in my room right before, you know, even at 21, right before I started door to door, I'm like, if I can just buy one rental property, you know, a year, I'll be stoked. And now we like bought 16 in the last year. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if I was 18 and someone told me that, I probably wouldn't believe it, but you don't really act like that, you know, now. So I try and probably stop and, you know, actually take a little bit of the wins, but it's also more problems with the more stuff you got going on. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, ground yourself in the moment. Yeah, that's one thing that I always preach in my office here in Austin is just staying level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Remember where you come from. Don't let the highs get too high. Don't let the lows get too low. You know. Mm-hmm. As far as and we're gonna go ahead and get this wrapped up here shortly. But as far as, you know, let's say, you know, listeners listening to this podcast and just maybe they're 18 years old, you know, maybe they're 20 years old and they just are looking for, you know, Googling on YouTube, you know, the same stuff that we probably did, TikTok nowadays. But what would you say is your biggest advice to somebody who is, you know, looking to create generational wealth? They're looking to you know, just develop into the best and most successful person that they can be in their eyes. What would your advice be to them?
I think it'd be invest in yourself first, and get into a sales environment. I mean, there's literally nothing better you can do than go sell door to door. Like if I would have found that at 18, I don't regret how anything happened. I'm glad it all played out the way it did. But if I would have found it at 18, I wouldn't have finished college. Maybe it'd be 4 years ahead. Yeah. Not saying that I need that, but getting into something and knowing that it's going to be hard, because so many people now with so many options, it sounds like the grass is always greener and they want to get money quick. Like even getting rental properties, that's not quick money, but it's like you can, you know, do it consistently and level up your income in some sort of sales environment. You're going to be set way far ahead than anyone else. But yeah, trying to have the overnight success is, you know, not always feasible. So actually sticking to whatever it is that you're going to do.
Yeah, putting your head down and grinding, choosing hard.
Yep.
Choosing hard. Yeah. One more question. I just thought of this. I want to bring it. What is because me and Cotton were very routine oriented, I guess you could say. What would you say is like your daily routine that you do? You have a daily routine that you do, or maybe like a morning routine that you do every single morning that just kind of helps you stay tunnel vision?
Yeah, I do. I like being from the sales environment. I used to never read books or listen to podcasts until I think I got into sales. But man, I always have a mindset podcast in if I'm at the gym. But I mean, every morning I'm up by like 5 now, and I used to immediately hit the gym. Now I actually use that first like 4 hours just to get work done because my phone's not ringing, and then I'll hit the gym at like 9 when no one's there, and then get to the rest of the day. But I like to do write down the goals, the first top 10 goals every morning. I write down the top 10 things I'm grateful for, just so I'm starting out in a right mindset. Reading scripture as well. I like just getting in that mindset before the day starts. Use that time to maximize the productivity, and then always in the gym.
Mm-hmm. One thing Cotton used to do whenever he was closing, he was always just used to listen to gospel music on the way to his appointments.
I want all the help I can get.
Yeah.
Help me out.
Get in the right mindset. Make sure the Lord is right there with him.
It's routine, though. If it works, I'm not going to change it.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
People can feel that on the other side of the door, though. Like if you thought you're an actor about to win a job, that person's having so much more fun talking to you than the next person that's like so nervous or just hating their life.
It's
It's just like all a transfer of energy.
I preach that every freaking day. Sales is nothing but a transfer of energy. If you can transfer positive energy, then people are gonna like you. If you're not setting appointments, well then you're just not a likable person, period. Yep. You know what I mean? You got to make people like you. So, hey, bro, we really appreciate you coming on, dude. We're definitely going to have to we're going to get with Jack. I'll definitely want to do another podcast, maybe sometime maybe Q3 of next year. Come in person, so we can actually meet you in person. And then also, if you ever do run across any deals, reach out to, let's definitely, I'm going to make sure I text you, save your number. But if you're ever looking for any other investors and stuff like that, myself and Cotton, and we got a lot of other people that would be interested too.
Perfect. Are you guys in Denver right now or Austin? I know he sent me.
He lives in Austin. We're currently in Austin shooting this podcast, but yeah, I'm up in Denver.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, that'd be fun. I do a podcast too, so I might have to cross collaborate, get more of y'all's story. I know you're asking me all the questions, but
heck yeah, dude, we would love to. Yeah, reach out to you got my number, I'll text you. I'm gonna send your number over to Cotton as well. But yeah, we'll definitely stay in contact for sure.
Sweet.
So
I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, all right, big dog, we appreciate you coming on. And
you want to get his podcast Instagram?
Oh yeah. What's your podcast name?
So everything with our brand is just REI, like real estate investing closers. So that's the YouTube podcast. We're trying to get more consistent with it. We were like 20 episodes with the podcast, but trying to start doing one every week. And then on my personal Instagram, it's just benjensen.rei.
Ben Jensen. And yeah, we'll get Jack to put y'all's logo or something like that in our description for your podcast and stuff like that too. So
Sweet.
Absolutely, bro. Hey, we appreciate you coming on, and yeah, we'll stay in contact for sure.
All righty, y'all have a good one.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and
man.
Before we go, thank everybody for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Share the post on Facebook, and if you are interested in coming on the podcast, reach out to myself, Garrett, or you can also message our the podcast page, and our guy Jack will get back with you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Later, Ben.
See ya.
Later.